Here's where permutation and combination questions can start to get very tricky because we start to have to sort of piece together different permutations and combinations. My rule of thumb is anytime you say the word and, you're going to be multiplying those pieces together. Anytime you say the word or, you're going to be adding those pieces together. That's the rule of thumb I use to make these a little bit easier. And so let's go ahead and take a look at our example down here. We've got a student council that's made up of this sort of breakdown of different classes, and then we want to form a committee of these students. Well, the first thing I'll need to figure out is whether I'm going to be doing a permutation or a combination to answer this. Again, a trick that I've kind of told you guys about in class was when you're working with a committee, that's a surefire bet that you're going to be doing a combination, because the order of people, the order you select people in for a committee doesn't matter. Whether you're picked first or last, you're still serving on that same committee. You don't have a specific position you're going to fill. So I'm going to be working with a combination in this case. For my first scenario, I want to make a committee that has exactly 2 seniors, and there's that keyword that's going to tell us to multiply 2 things together. So exactly 2 seniors and 2 juniors. And so what I'm going to do is this. Let's start with our senior piece. For my seniors, to get 2 seniors, I'm not going to be selecting from everybody. I'm selecting from the pool just of seniors. So I'm going to set up 6C2 to indicate the different combinations I can form of 2 seniors from a group of 6 seniors. After that, let's worry about the juniors. Well, similarly, I've got a pool of 5 juniors I'm picking from. So I'm not picking from everybody. I want to choose 2 out of those 5. So I'm going to set up 5C2 to represent the different number of combinations that will work for that. Because I want both of these things to happen, I want this and this to happen, I'm going to multiply my answers to each of those together. And so using a calculator, using that NCR button on my calculator, I find out that the different ways I can make a committee with seniors is 15, 6C2 is 15, 5C2 comes out to be 10. So multiplying those together gets me 150 different ways I can make a committee of exactly 2 seniors and 2 juniors. And if that wasn't tricky enough, let's go ahead and take a look at these problems that start to throw either at the words at most or at least at us. What I do is I think of what at most means. At most for students means I could have a committee just of 1 student, which I guess wouldn't really be a great committee, or, there's a keyword, I could have a committee of 2 students, or a committee of 3, or a committee of 4. That's what at most 4 means. 1, 2, 1 or 2 or 3 or 4. And so those ors are going to tell me that I'm adding different pieces together. Well, once again, we're still working with committees, so I'm still doing a combination. This time, though, I'm selecting just from 4 students, so I don't have to worry about a specific class of students. In this case, adding up the totals from the breakdown up above tells me I'm working with a pool of 18 students. And so the different committees I can form of 1 student is going to be represented by 18C1. I want to pick 1 student out of the group of 18. Then so on down the list. I could also do a committee of 2 students, so 18C2. A committee of 3 students, the different ways I could do that would be 18C3, and then for the committees of 4 students, 18C4. Once again, I'm using 18 because this time they just said students in general. All those ors tells me to add all those individual pieces together. Or is add and is multiply. And so using a calculator to get these different numbers, 18C1 is 18. 18C2, you guys can pause the video and do this yourself if you don't want to watch me just work this out or write this down. 18C3 is 816. And then finally 18C4 is 3060. And so the different committees I can make that have at most 4 students is going to be the sum of all those individual answers, which gets me a total final answer of 4,047 different committees I can form that have at most 4 students on them.